Okay, this is the image we're going to work with tonight. I'm going to start here, back up at the top. Let me get rid of these other layers because we don't need those. And then we'll make the conversion and we'll start working in black and white. Okay, first thing you're going to do is you'll go to the Layer menu, go to Adjustment Layer, then you're going to select Black and White. You have this in both CS5 and CS6. And you'll see here that the photo is now converted to a basic black and white. What you also have here, and then also on the right here, you're going to notice that right above the background layer, which is your image, you have the black and white layer. And then this is the properties panel. And you'll notice that you have 6 different colors here. Reds, yellows, greens, cyans, blues, magentas. These basically correspond with, the way they function is they correspond with filters that were used in black and white film photography. In the old days when photographers were shooting film, you would use like a yellow filter to bring out contrast between the blue sky and the white clouds. And so these will, even though the image is in black and white, these filters will directly affect the tones of your image. So what you can do once you've converted using that adjustment layer, the black and white adjustment layer, is you can slide each individual color and change the tonality of your image. If you look here, this is the red. You can see by sliding it back and forth that it's changing the tonality, especially in the yellow of this building. You're seeing a brighter yellow as you add more yellow or more red, and then as you reduce it, it's bringing that out again. This works with the color wavelength. Also the yellows. I'm going to work on this a second and get it where I think I want it. Typically in traditional black and white, you want to get a good range of rich tones. See the cyan here? This is going to work directly on this area here, which is a cyan and blue area of the blue sky. So this is going to actually add a lot of depth of tone when you make these adjustments. Many people like their skies to be very dark and show a lot of contrast between the clouds. So we'll leave it right there for now. Okay. Let me show you the difference here. This is what you started out with. At any time, too, using the adjustment layer, you can click the little eyeball to the left, and that will deactivate that layer. So that's what we started with, and this is our black and white conversion. Okay, you might think of a hue adjustment only with color, but you can actually use the hue adjustment layer to work with black and white images too. But you have to be very careful how you use it, and you have to put the layer in the right place or else it won't work at all. What you're going to do is go to your background image, which is at the bottom of the layers. Click on that, and then in the Layer menu, click on Layers, New Layer, and then Hue Saturation. And that's going to open up the Hue and Saturation Properties panel. And you'll notice that your layers, you have black and white on top, and then Hue and Saturation, and then the background is on the bottom. It's very important that this layer goes between or below the black and white adjustment layer. If you put it on top of the black and white adjustment layer, it won't work at all. And the reason that is because hue relates to color. So in this case, this is a monochrome image once you've converted to black and white, so there's no color for it to work on. But if you put it here below the black and white adjustment layer, you actually can make changes to the color image as if it was not converted. And let me show you what this does. If you go up here to the hue slider and move it back and forth, you're going to see that the tonality changes. And I'll show you what that does in just a second underneath that layer. So let's say we want to keep it there. What's happening is the hue adjustment is being made on this color layer. So look what happened. See, if we deactivate that black and white layer, we see what actually happened underneath the surface here with the hue and saturation adjustment layer. But you can see that you have a lot of control over the options of the tonality. And you can often find, by using this technique, you can often find a place within the function itself where the tonality comes into a range that you actually like. And this can save you a lot of time going forward when you get into to more detailed editing of the tonality in the image. Also, you may also want to work a little bit with the saturation and lightness. These actually do not have a lot of effect. It has some effect, as you can see, because this is as I'm desaturating, or if I'm saturating more, it has some effect there. Lightness, of course, is just like your brightness, and you can lighten it this way too. But the main thing you want to be concerned with this layer in this positioning is the hue, because this is going to work on your tones. Okay, after you've adjusted the hue and saturation, you have more. Another technique that you can use is by using selective color to work on the tonality even more. This one, the selective color layer needs to go on top of the black and white conversion layer, and that's very important because what you're going to use in this layer is you're going to work directly with your whites and your blacks and your neutral colors. You're not going to work with other colors within the image like you did with hue and saturation. Okay, we're going to go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and we're going to choose Selective Color, which is all the way down at the bottom here. You're going to see here that you get a dialog box that has all of your primary and your secondary colors plus white, neutral, and black. What we're going to do, if you click on the colors drop down, you get all of the colors. So this allows you to work on one color at a time. So let's start with the blacks. By using this, you can actually adjust the amount of cyan or magenta or yellow or black within that color. We're not going to use this for toning. We're going to get to that later. So we're going to leave the magenta and the cyan and the yellow alone. But you can see that if you wanted to use it that way, you could add color to it this way. But this is not the purpose of this layer at this point. What we're going to do is work with the blacks. And the adjustment you need to worry about with the black color is the black slider. And if you go to the left, you're going to reduce the amount of black. If you go to the right, you're going to add more black. So let's get this at a range that we like. And then you can also go into the whites. This helps out a lot if you have whites that are overexposed and really blown out and sort of really blazing hot. You can add more black to it, and it will actually bring the white down to a more acceptable level. Or let's say we want to go to this area here of the clouds, and we want to make them a little bit brighter so that it looks a little more sunny. We can reduce black, and you should see a little more detail coming out in the clouds. For this, I'm a little bit concerned about the white here, so I'm going to go a little bit darker on the black, but just a little bit. And this is, again, with the white color. And then the neutrals. The neutrals are going to be all of your gray tones. But when you adjust the neutrals, it pretty much affects every tone in the image. Let me adjust this so you can see. See, you're going to make your whites whiter, blacks in these areas that look like shadows are actually getting lighter, because what you see with the eye is not actually always completely black. So you slide this back and forth, and you can see the huge range here that you're getting. Let's get this to a specific level. Also, what you'll notice with the neutrals here, I just reduced this by 7%. I took out 7% black. Let's go back up to 0 and let me show you what's happened to this image. You'll notice this area here, this is shaded from the clouds, so you get a lot of shading in this area, and it looks a little bit too dark. So if you reduce the black a little without taking out too much black, we're going to go down to about 7 here. You can see that it really opened up those shadows a lot. Let me show you the difference with what we started with. So just by reducing some black in this image, you can bring out shadow detail that you didn't think was there. Let me talk a little bit about what you're looking for in your tonality. In traditional black and white photography, the rule of thumb was that you wanted to have something in the image that was maximum black and something that was maximum white. And what that means is, for example, with a maximum white, you want something that shows pure white with no gray in the white, but without loss of detail. And you also don't want so much white that an image looks overexposed. With maximum black, what maximum black would mean is that you go all the way to black, but without going any farther. The same thing with maximum white. You want to go to the limit, but you don't want to go over the limit. You don't want to go under it. What happens so often is if you don't have a maximum white or maximum black, I'll give you an idea of what this does to the image. Let's say we add more black here. We're already maximum black, say in this area here. You look at this tiny little area here. This is maximum black. There's no white. There's no gray within this area. If you add more black to it, it's not going to get blacker. This is as far as it goes. So let's say we do add black. That doesn't get any blacker. It's still the same tone, but you're bringing everything else down so it looks like it's underexposed. With maximum white, yeah, you can run into the same issues. If you, let's say this here looks like it's probably about maximum white, these highlight areas here. If you go if you reduce the blacks in that any more area gets white, but you also make the image look like it's washed out and overexposed. So you want to make sure that you get, you want to have maximum white and maximum black in some area of the photo, but an appropriate area. You don't want your shadows to go completely black in most cases. But also, you have to also realize that these are your photographs, and you have a creative vision in mind, and you have to follow that creative vision. So the overall look of the image is your decision. Okay, so let's move on to toning.